A very, very good evening to all of you. I know it's a Sunday. I know it's a part of a long weekend. For those of you who are working, you must be cherishing the long weekend. Aisa socha hoga, but then we came up with a plan to, completely eat up your long weekend with some sessions that are really good in terms of the value addition. But I think this kind of a session is worth its weight in gold. Uh, Not boasting about myself though, but I'm generally talking about race to 99 in general. The kind of strategies that you will learn here will go a long way in your preparation. So, hello and welcome to this session. I am Ravi. We are going to discuss the CAT 2024 slot 3 DILR paper. But more importantly, I'm not going to I'm not going to, उसके अंदर घुस के 2024 slot 3 के अंदर घुस के काम नहीं है. This is what I'm going to try and deliver in this session is when I am seeing a paper of DILR, when I see a section of DILR which has 4 or 5 sets, how do I think? What is my thought process? On what basis do I make my decisions in that paper? How do I read? How do I understand the anatomy of the DILR section? From there to the application of whatever I know is what I am going to take you through. I will try to take you through the thought process of it, not the question solving ability of it. The question solving ability of it will come. आप लोग, हम लोग, everyone practices enough. Everyone takes enough number of mock tests. It's only about how you apply those concepts that you are going to learn in the final exam. And hence, क्योंकि अभी आपके पास you still have about 7-8 months to go for your preparation. It is time that you understand what is it that you are preparing for. मतलब फाइनल पेपर में अगर मेरे को इस तरह से सोचना है या ये सब करना है तो उसके हिसाब से what do I prepare for is primarily what I'm going to focus on. So without much ado, I've already taken 2 minutes in the introduction. Let's get started. It's going to be a 1.5 hour session at best, and I will try to take you through most decision making thought processes that I go through when I typically am writing the exam, right? If that is loud and clear, let's get started. In the meantime, let me just open YouTube on a side tab so I also get to know what comments are coming. Just give me a minute. Am I audible or visible? तो मैंने पूछा ही नहीं क्योंकि श्रुति जी से मैंने पहले ही पूछ लिया था. ठीक है? So let's get started. So first of all, what is the CAT exam pattern? I think by this time that you have been enrolled into some course or you are into the groove of solving questions, or at least you primarily may have a little bit of idea about this. This is just me reiterating it for the nth time probably, that this is going to be 3 sections: verbal ability and reading comprehension. It is your ability to understand and comprehend the language that is going to be most important in this. Critical reasoning is going to be most important in this. Understanding the question stem and understanding the art of elimination of options is going to be the most important in the first section. The second section obviously is what we are going to talk about in depth today, which is data interpretation and logical reasoning, often perceived to be the toughest of all the sections. Perceived to be मैं इसलिए बोलता हूँ because unlike the other 2 sections, you are never in life tested on data interpretation and logical reasoning before probably. That is the only reason why people primarily find this section tough. More tougher in the sense कि वो 40 minutes में DILR solve करना tough लगता है, उसके बाद उतना ज़्यादा शायद tough ना लगे. And then there is quantitative ability. I think quantitative ability session in RT99 Headstart 2 was done yesterday with Shivku sir and Shashank sir, if I'm not wrong. So overall, it is 68 questions with 3 sections with 40 minutes ka time limit for each. A 2-hour paper, which is close to about 204 to 200 marks is what you are looking at. But if you have not attended the last race to 99 series of sessions, Headstart series of sessions that happened in the last month, I'm just giving you a quick recap of that. So CAT, when it comes to CAT, the difficulty level is unpredictable. There is nothing called a CAT level of question. There are absolute sitters in the CAT, And there are questions that will make you go absolute bonkers as well in the same exam, right? So when I hear a lot of students say that ये question cat level नहीं लग रहा, भाई cat का ही खुद का कोई level नहीं है, right? So cat over the years has always been fluctuating in terms of the level of difficulty of questions. 2022 was probably the toughest DILR. 2023 was tough. 2024 was probably the easiest DILR over the last 10 years. And then came 2025, again back to the 2022 level. So that is the kind of fluctuation that will probably happen when it comes to the level of difficulty of not only DILR, probably even in quant. Verbal ability, I feel, over the last 4 or 5 years, they have found a golden mean, they have found a sweet spot, and they are continuously hitting on that, right? Then you don't need to finish the paper, just 50 to 60% done right wins. This is absolutely important for us to know. Absolutely important for us to know, because see, what is the end goal? End goal, if your end goal at the end of writing CAT is to go to the top tier IIMs, right? You are looking at some percentile which is above 99, some 99.6 plus percentile above. And the 99.6 percentile almost always has been at less than or equal to 60% of the total marks of the paper. So even if you solve 50 to 60% of the paper with commitment, with 100% accuracy, that is good enough. What it also gives me is a relief in terms that I will be able to score good marks even if I leave out 40 to 50% of the paper. That is where the question of selection and rejection and strategy comes into picture. वरना तो क्या ही मतलब है स्ट्रैटेजी का? अगर सारे क्वेश्चन करने हैं तो कोई भी ऑर्डर में करो, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, करने ही है, राइट? People who are going for the kill, people who are very good in any of the particular sections or all three sections should go for the kill, should go for all 100% exams. I'm not questions. I'm not denying that fact at all. I'm just saying, even if you leave out 30-40% of the paper, the remaining 60%, if you attempt it at a 90% accuracy, chances are you will end up with more than 99 percentile in the overall paper. So a 99th percentile historically requires less than 50% of the marks, and attempting 4 sets well beats attempting 5 sets poorly. Then when it comes to DILRs, when it comes to the set selection, scanning, classifying sets, and then understanding understanding the level of difficulty or the complexity is very, very important, right? Without ये सब चीजें at the end of this session also, almost these will be the kind of learnings that are there, but I'll get into the depths of how you actually go about it. So when you look at CAT 2025, out of the 66 marks that DILR had to present, about 30 marks, that is 10 questions net correct out of 22, that is about 45% of the total number of questions, were enough to take one to a 99 plus percentile. And this was almost similar across the slots. So as you can see over here, 12 questions out of 22, that is close to only about 50-55% of the total marks, and you will be 50 to 53% of the total marks, and you will be there in the 99.5th percentile range as well. So this is some comparison of what marks gave what kind of percentile in DILR over the last 7-8 years. You can ignore CAT 2018 and CAT 2019 here, because 2018 and 2019 were papers in which DILR had 32 questions, 96 marks. Uski baat hai, right? But traditionally, if you look at the 99th percentile, otherwise, in all of this range, 8 to 12 questions के बाहर कभी नहीं गया है. Irrespective of the paper was easier or tougher, 8 to 12 questions has always been the range. Those 3-4 questions decide whether you'll end up in the 95th percentile or you will end up well above the 99th percentile, right? And if you look at the topics that have been questioned in the DILR over the past, These are the type of topics or concepts into which most of the questions or most of the sets can be pulled. Most of the questions, see, when you study DILR, typically most courses will take you through DI separately and LR separately, but it is for us to understand that DI standalone probably doesn't exist anymore. Even in sets of DI, you will have to add some kind of reasoning, some kind of logic, and then arrive at the answers, right? So that is very important for us to understand. Though you may study the concept standalone, greater the number of questions you practice, larger your exposure will be towards those kind of questions, and you will be able to do eventually better. Followed by Venn diagrams, matrix arrangements. I think arrangement is something जिसके बिना पेपर आता ही नहीं है. अरेंजमेंट वाला क्वेश्चन हर पेपर में आएगा. In fact, at the end of the day, when it comes to logical reasoning, most of the questions, your success rate in most of the sets typically depends on how you arrange that data, how you go about representing that data. But is that the very first step when it comes to solving DILR? That is what we are going to watch in this entire session going forward. Then again, yes, there have been questions from scheduling. Scheduling is also a kind of an arrangement. Metrics and grid arrangement is also a kind of an arrangement. Order and ranking is also a kind of an arrangement. But when you learn these concepts, you learn all of these a little bit separately with each other. But at the end of the day, how you represent data or arrange it is going to be very, very, very important. Lately, over the last 4 or 5 years, we have always also been seeing the frequency with which the questions on routes and networks, or even a question of a type of a Gantt chart, or even spider or radar charts have increased over the last 3-4 years. So DI, while DI is always probably a part of the every paper that you see, हर पेपर में एक आध सेट DI का होता ही है, but the kind of representation that is going into DI is changing gradually. They are also giving us a little bit of complex type of visualization when it comes to questions, including radar charts, or probably even a candlestick that not a lot of us may be very exposed to unless you are reading business papers, you are into trading day in and day out, right? When it comes to level of difficulty of the questions, you can see about 63 out of the 117 sets. 63 out of the 117 sets, that is just about 55% of the questions, will always fall in the easy, medium, or medium level. Yes, I don't deny that there will be difficult and moderate to difficult kind of questions as well. However, as I said before, if you know the art of living, अगर आपको पता है कि किस बेसिस पे आप सिलेक्शन करने वाले हो, and you select those 50, 55, 60% of the questions which are easy to moderate level, then you end up doing better than your counterparts. At the end of the day, it is an exam of relative grading. What is percentile? Percentile is the relative percentage of people you have done better than in the exam. So you just have to be better than the 99 other percent people who are writing the exam. And most people will flunk in picking the correct set when it comes to DILR, right? So let's get into CAT 2024 slot 3. Now, this is a graph that we keep showing across all our mock analysis and previous year exam analysis as well. So if you look at CAT 2024 slot 3, it also had 5 sets. There were 3 sets of 4 questions each, the first, second, and 5th over here, and 2 sets of 5 questions each. Now, the graph has 2 entities. One is bars, and then one is the area graph. What the area graph signifies over here is the percentage of people who have gone ahead and attempted this set. For example, the question number 29 was attempted by close to 80% people, while question number 30 was attempted by close to 75% people. 31 was only attempted by 72, and when it came to 32, it came down to the attempt percentage came down to as low as 65. However, if you look at the bar graphs, what are the bar graphs telling us? Out of the 80% people who attempted this question, 52% people got this question right. Out of the 75% people who attempted this question, about 67% people got this question right. So the bar graph is talking about accuracy, while the area graph is showing us the attempt rate of these questions, right? At any point in time you have any query, please feel free to comment on the chat box for me to pick it up as well while I am going through with the process of the session. Okay? So if you pay attention to this particular graph, you will identify from the percentage of accuracy level. Accuracy percentage के हिसाब से अगर मैं देखूं, if I judge the sets only on the basis of accuracy percentage, then I will find that the first set was the easiest. Because all 4 bars are green. Anyone who attempted this found it easy. Almost 80% of the students got every question right. First set seems to be the easiest, followed by the second set. No question in the difficult zone as such. While if you look at the third set is extremely difficult. Was it difficult or not? Let us see. Going forward, we will see. But third set is the one that most people flunked in, though they did not think that it was difficult. So if you look at the percentage of people who ended up attempting the third set, 60% of people, close to 60% of people only attempted the first set, and again close to 60% of people spent time even in the third set, only to find out that it was probably the most difficult set in the paper. This is exactly what I was talking about when I said you have to choose these and ignore these. Ignore and spend time and say not today to these kind of sets. And probably in this paper, that was the most difficult set, and people still ended picking it up. As a result, wasted probably 10-12 precious minutes of their time. As a result, not being able to spend time in the fourth set probably, which was comparatively easier. And if you look at the average attempt rate of the fourth set, it is sub 50%. And again, the fifth set, number of people who attempted it was much lower, right? So it is very, very imperative for us to understand on what basis do we make that call or decision कि ये set मैं solve करने वाला हूँ या नहीं, और किस हिसाब से मैं सोचूंगा. On what basis am I going to make that call, whether or not I am going to solve this set, is what I am going to talk next about. But before we do that, in terms of, if I have to give you a formula, whether किस basis पे आपको set select करना चाहिए या नहीं, before I do that, let us get into something called the anatomy of a DILR set. The anatomy of a DILR set. A very recently super hit movie called Dhurandhar. I am hoping all of you have watched, or most of you have watched. Hope क्या करना है? I'm thinking most of you have watched. ऐसा hope वाली बात नहीं है. नहीं देखे, that is your choice, absolutely. But I am going to take reference from that movie, for example, to help you understand the anatomy of DILR. सबसे पहले तो DILR में आता है setup. Most sets of DILR will start with a setup. The setup is typically the first paragraph. That tells you about the world that the movie is set in. So if you remember the first part of Dhurandhar, how it started. Dhurandhar कैसे start हुआ था? सबसे पहले तो I think it started with the hijack of IC-814. And the hijackers not letting Madhavan say Bharat Mata ki Jai or something like that. And then Madhavan got angry. That person got angry. He felt very embarrassed. India's national security advisor. So he came back and he started formulating a plan that will probably eliminate terrorism. but the things didn't go the way he planned. So he said, okay boss, let me see what I can do. Then again in 2002 or 2000, some parliament attack happened, and after that parliament attack happened, the defense minister came back to him and said, boss, tu kuch idea leke aaya tha, to bata. Then he said, okay, project Durandar, and then fell the title card Durandar. That is the setup. The setup tells us what is the world that the story is set up in. So the setup is telling us कि बॉस ये पाकिस्तान इंडिया पे टेररिस्ट अटैक्स व्हाटएवर जो भी हो रहा है उसका इंडिया रिटेलिएशन कैसे करेगा is what this is the setup. So okay, you are up for violence, you are up for treachery, you are up for what not, is what the setup is telling us. And if you are not interested in the setup itself, अगर आपको शुरू का 15-20 मिनट फिल्म का नहीं पसंद आया या फिर आपको बोरिंग लगा or you felt it was absolutely off topic, then probably you will stop watching it there itself, right? आपको शुरू का 15-20 मिनट, the world in which it is set up, you didn't feel that you could relate with it, then you will probably stop watching that movie. The setup is an indicator in terms of आपको ये दुनिया समझ में आ रही है या नहीं. So what does the world building help us understand? It helps us understand the basic rules. It helps us understand the basic rules. Okay. Then comes data. So number one is data setup. Number two is data. What does the data tell us? Data tells us either 6 to 7 points में कुछ data दिया रहेगा या फिर diagrammatically, infographically, some kind of DI kind of a data, a table, a graph, a spider chart or whatever. कुछ भी इस तरीके का दे दिया रहेगा एक DI वाला आइटम, या फिर एक 6-7 पॉइंट रहेंगे, या दोनों का कॉम्बिनेशन भी हो सकता है. What is the data telling us? Data is further letting us know कि आगे क्या होने वाला है, या फिर आगे ये जो सेटअप से इसका क्या कनेक्शन है, सेटअप के बाद दुनिया और कैसे आगे बढ़ेगी. The data gives us reference to the characters that make the movie move forward. That take the movie forward, who are going to work. ये नहीं चले, ये कैरेक्टर नहीं चले तो सेट नहीं चलेगा या मूवी नहीं चलेगा. If I have to go back to that Durandar reference, once he is inducted and he goes into that project Durandar and he becomes day one as a spy in Pakistan, आंधी बन के आया हूं वगैरह, जैसे ही वो उसके अंदर घुसा, then he meets this guy called Alam, and Alam tells him that there is a Rahman Baloch and उसका एक पप्पा है, उसका एक भाई है उजैर बलोच, रहमान बलोच के बेटे है, एक एसपी चौधरी है जो जिन है, एक जमील जमाली है जो सुअर है, और ऐसे करके 6-7-8 कैरेक्टर के बारे में बताता है. Those are the 6-7 data points that this guy, our hero, has to assimilate. He has to assimilate. इसको समझना है कि कौन क्या करता है, and then based on that data and what he has understood from the setup, then he makes a mind map. This data and the setup, when you combine them together, you will come up with some kind of a mind map कि आगे शायद working ऐसे होगा. As soon as he got all of this data and the setup, when he looked at it, he understood the complexity of it. उसने फिर बोला कि the easiest way probably for me to do it is to infiltrate रहमान डकैत का gang. Right? So that is how he said, okay, I'm going to do. But is he going to start working immediately is the biggest question you need to ask yourself. The number 3 is questions. The anatomy of a DILR set. When I'm talking about it, questions and options are a part of the set. Questions and options are a part of the set. इसको पढ़ना बहुत जरूरी है. Questions and options are a part of the set. There is zero doubt about it. Questions पढ़ना बहुत जरूरी है. Imagine Dhurandhar, who is our Ranveer Singh, who is our क्या कहते हैं Questions basically give hints. I'll tell you how. जो अपना रणवीर सिंह आदमी है ये मूवी में, हमजा अली मजारी, he reads the setup, he looks at the data, but if he doesn't know what is the goal, what do you get marks for? Do you get marks for killing Rahman Baloch? Or do you get marks for stopping terrorism in Pakistan? That is the thing that you need to understand over here. What is the goal? You get marks for answering the question. You don't get marks for understanding the question. You get marks for answering the 4 or 5 questions that follow the set that is given, the setup and the data that is given. आपका goal क्या है? किस चीज के लिए कर रहे हैं? And then yes, इस किस चीज के लिए कर रहे हैं के ऊपर डिपेंड करता है कि आप फिर ये डेटा को कैसे लेके उसके ऊपर कैसे वर्किंग करते हो. So the working of it or the representation of it typically comes fourth. Questions and options will give you a goal. They will give you a direction. They will tell कि boss तेरे को ये काम करना है. You have to infiltrate the politics of this Pakistan. Okay, the goal is to infiltrate the politics of Pakistan. पाकिस्तान का पॉलिटिक्स कराची कंट्रोल करता है और कराची का पॉलिटिक्स लेयारी कंट्रोल करता है. लेयारी का पॉलिटिक्स में सबसे बड़ा आदमी आज के टाइम पे रहमान डकैत है. Hence I have to infiltrate Rahman Daket's gang. The question gives us the goal. और जैसे ही हमने गोल समझा, then we will start working towards the goal. And without that goal, whatever you work on is going to be absolutely useless. आपने पूरा सेट सॉल्व कर लिया, आंसर नहीं मार्क किया, कितने नंबर मिलेंगे? 0. टेबल बनाने का कोई नंबर नहीं देता तुमको, आंसर करने के नंबर मिलते हैं. So the anatomy of DILR is as such. These are the 4 items that you need to understand. And how do you go about it? First item on the list is read the setup slowly and carefully. I'm taking a lot of effort here to make sure that my handwriting is legible. अगर नहीं समझ में आ रहा है तो just comment your comment. मैं थोड़ा और धीरे उसको कुछ करने की कोशिश करता हूँ. Read the setup slowly and carefully. वो जो वर्ल्ड में दुनिया है, फिल्म है कि ऐसा खानसार करके एक अलग देश बनने वाला है, वो ना पाकिस्तान में होगा ना इंडिया में होगा, ऐसा सलार करके एक होगा, वो जो सेटअप है उसको बहुत ध्यान से पढ़ना होता है. बिकॉज देयर विल बी one odd point in the setup that will help you to understand, that will probably help you later when you're solving the questions, but you will have to keep that in the mind. Number 2 is read the data not to solve it immediately. Read the data not to solve it immediately. Read the data to analyze the complexity of the data. Analyze the complexity of the data. And while you have done these two, simultaneously you have a mind map going on. Paper पे कुछ नहीं रखना है आपको इस point पे. You simultaneously have a mind map going on कि अच्छा ये ऐसा कुछ बनने वाला है. Okay, from the setup and the data, I am able to understand that there are 4 people who will have 4 different cars and who will have 4 different colors of shirts who are wearing, and they are doing 4 different jobs. तो आपको समझ गया, there are 4 parameters: names, jobs, cars, and colors, right? Colors of shirts. तो ये 4 parameters है and there are 4 people. So I am looking at a 4x4 grid. वो एक mind map is what you are thinking about at that time. ठीक है? But you are not solving anything right then. Let me be very clear. Mind map, just this is in your mind. Number 3, इधर से मैं नंबर 3 हटा देता हूं वरना कंफ्यूज हो जाओगे. नंबर 3 is going to be read the questions carefully. Carefully भी नहीं पढ़े तो भी ऊपर से अगर आपने पढ़ लिया तो भी it is very, very useful. Read the questions and options and see if you are finding any hints. and understand the goal of solving. Understand the goal of solving. And number 4 is go back to your working. Bring this mind map over here. Start working. Look at the representation that you want to put on paper. And then based on that representation, you answer your questions. Obviously, when you are working, you will refer back to the data. Read the data. ये जो वाला है ना, इसको बहुत डीपली नहीं रीड करना है. You can skim through this in this step and try to understand the complexity of the data. Simple sentences दिए हैं, compounds and complex sentences दिए हैं, at least at most वाले कितने points हैं, or are they all simple, good looking, cute data points? Those are the kind of questions that you need to ask when you're reading that data. Okay? So when you read the setup and the data, you have a mind map in place. Then you read the questions and then bring that mind map to working. Why do I say read the questions and then bring that mind map to working? Because you never know, the question might be giving you away absolutely brilliant clues at times, जो otherwise आप miss कर जाते हैं. For example, let me give you a simple example. Ki, let us say there are 5 people coming from 5 places, going and doing 5 jobs. They have 5 cars and they have 5 surnames. Okay? And then there are data points given 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. जैसे ही आप ये डेटा पॉइंट्स ऊपर से देखते हैं and you read the setup, this is what the setup was telling us. Typically, we start thinking of name, place, animal, thing. Let us say they come from 5 places. Places, thing, that is car. ये ठीक है, ये surnames ही रहने दो. Then you will think of, say, surnames. And then you will think of, say, names, jobs. Okay. And you will start filling the grid. You will start filling the grid with the help of the 7 data points that are given. आपको ये मिल गया, 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 और ये मिल गया. And you were able to, out of this 25 grid points, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 के values you were not able to find at all. Okay. 8 के values you were not able to find at all. Then what do? You go back to the data points to see if you are missing anything. कुछ छूट तो नहीं गया मेरे से. ये करते करते फिर और 2-3 मिनट लगते हैं, बट और कुछ खुल ही नहीं रहा होता. ये 8 डेटा पॉइंट वैसे ही रहते हैं. Only to realize later when you see the questions, the question says, if A owns a Ferrari, or if B, question बोलता है if B surname is Sharma, what is D's surname? Look, had you read this question, if B's surname is Sharma, at the beginning of your solving itself, you know कि आप कितना भी कोशिश कर लो, B का surname आपको नहीं मिलने वाला. You will not be able to find B's surname and hence D's surname also. तो जब अपन काम कर रहे हैं तो पहले ये पता करो कितना काम करना है. क्वेश्चन में ऐसे इफ वाले अगर क्वेश्चंस है तो वो अपने को सीधा इंडिकेटर्स हैं. दे आर डायरेक्ट इंडिकेटर्स फॉर अस अबाउट द ग्रिड पॉइंट्स दैट वी विल नॉट बी एबल टू फाइंड द वैल्यूज ऑफ. तो इतना हिंट तो क्वेश्चन से डेफिनेटली लेना चाहिए. वी शुड सी वेदर द क्वेश्चंस आर all 5 definite, 2 definite and 3 if, 2 definite, 2 ifs, या इस किस तरह के, what is the nature of the question. So when you read the questions, you also have to understand the nature of the questions. Whether there are ifs, direct answers, helpful options, theta. So Shubhangi is asking, in questions where there are, we have to make cases, will you make the table twice? It depends on the grid size. If I am working on a 4x5 grid, 20 grid point hai, so it doesn't hurt making 2 tables also, because at the end of the day, if the questions are direct answers, it is indicative that if the questions are direct answers, nature of the questions, agar sare पांचों direct answers and no ifs, no buts, ऐसे वाले questions है, it is indicative that there is going to be one outstanding case, एक ही case बचेगा. तो आपको अगर बनाते वक्त, while working you are getting multiple cases also, दोनों case बनाते जाओ till one is eliminated. Okay, but if the nature of the question has ifs, don't form all cases. In general, don't form all cases. जितना definite है उतने का टेबल बना लो, और वो जो if बोल रहा है वो if को उधर डाल के फिर बाकी का निकालो वो क्वेश्चन के लिए. That is what I would suggest in general. To see, when you read the setup slowly, you will be able to get the familiarity of it. When you skim through this complexity, you will be able to understand the complexity of it. When you read the option questions, you will be able to find the nature of the questions. Nature of the questions. I think, to my mind, these are the top 3 factors that you should factor in while you are making a decision in the exam. You should not make a decision only on the basis of familiarity. You should not make a decision only on the basis of nature of questions, neither on this. Each of them should have a particular weightage, and different weightages for different people, different types of questions. इसका कोई formula नहीं है. देखो, for example, when I look at a set of set theory, even if it is complex, मेरे को पता है मैं निकाल लूंगा. तो familiarity ज्यादा है, complexity भी ज्यादा है, but I will probably end up solving it. But the same if it is for games and tournaments, if it is familiar also, but if it is complex, I will probably leave it for later. Familiarity से ज्यादा important ये है कि जिससे आप familiar हो उसमें आपका strength कितना है, or is it your weak area. ठीक है. So let's take a look at the sets in CAT slot 1. Before that, there are a couple of questions coming. What are the some traits of a difficult set? Typically in a difficult set, see, familiarity, complexity, and nature of the questions. In other words, if you are able to make this for yourself, setup, data, and nature of questions. Based on that, action. In a nutshell, अगर आपको बताऊं मैं, let me do it on this screen. And the action that I would take in a nutshell for these items, based on these items. Setup से अपने को क्या पता चलता है? Familiarity. Data से अपने को पता चलता है complexity. In fact, both setup and data taken together, you will be able to identify the complexity. Nature of the questions will tell us if the questions are complex, किस तरह के है, and action is what you have to take. So if the setup is a green signal, then you move to data. So data could be simple. So if the setup is easy and data is simple and the nature of the question is all 4 definite, what I'm thinking at this point is कि boss all 4 definite कॉम्प्लेक्स नहीं लग रहा है और सेटअप आसान है, मेरे को मेरे रेडार में गिर रहा है, ये टॉपिक मेरे को आता है, ठीक है. डेटा कॉम्प्लेक्स बहुत ज्यादा नहीं है और ऑल 4 डेफिनेट है. ऑल 4 डेफिनेट इज एन इंडिकेशन ऑफ स्पेंड 12 मिनट्स एंड टेक 12 मार्क्स. ऑल 4 डेफिनेट का मतलब है कि पूरा टेबल भर जाएगा अगर आप भरने लगोगे तो 12 मिनट लगाओ, 12 मार्क ले जाओ, ठीक है. बट इफ द सेटअप इज दिस and data is complex in the sense more than 30 grid points, more than 25 grids, and if the nature of the questions is all 4 definite, देखो इन दोनों केसेस में nature of the questions is the same, all 4 definite, but I am starting to think that the working is tough. data complexity है, लॉजिकली 1-2 कॉन्सेप्ट मेरे को आने चाहिए and the data size is higher. Though the questions are all 4 definite, probably I will end up taking 15 to 20 minutes. My action would be maybe later. आएगा, मेरे को करने को आएगा, but शायद maybe later. I'll probably do it later. Then comes my favorite type of sets. Setup is there and data is not there. Data is 1 or 2 points only. In that kind of a question, all 4 to 5 questions will be if. All 4 or 5 if means each question is independent of each other. Each question is independent of each other means हर 3 मार्क के क्वेश्चन को मैं अलग अलग से सोचूंगा. सेटअप दिया है, 1-2 ही डेटा पॉइंट्स है, दैट मींस दीज आर सम क्या कहते हैं उसको, कंस्ट्रेंट्स गिवन. लाइक एन एटीएम हैज टू डिस्पेंस नोट्स, but it has to dispense more notes of 1000 rupees than it can dispense of 500 or 200 taken together. ऐसा कुछ है. It is only a couple of data points that are given in terms of constraints. In that kind of a set, all 5 will be if, and all 4 or 5 जो if होते हैं उसमें से 2 to 3 doable होते हैं, 2 difficult होते हैं. Solve these 3 questions and leave the other 2. Because in that kind of a set, आपने कुछ working नहीं किया होता है. Individual question के लिए आपने solve किया होता है. You would have solved for that individual question. You would not have spent a lot of time in creating a data grid point and a lot of working and all. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. Then it is no strings attached, boss. बुरा नहीं लगेगा उसको छोड़ के जाने में. That is my favorite type of set. ठीक है. And then nature of questions, 2 definite, 2 if. 2 definite, 2 if का मतलब ये है, when the nature is 2 definite, 2 if, with whatever little data, some things are not going to, you cannot find some of the things, but with whatever little data can be found, you will get 6 marks. That means you will end up spending, okay, छोटा setup, छोटा डेटा और whatever little you can find, उससे तुमको अगर 6 मार्क मिल रहे हैं, तो I am now thinking कि if I spend 6 to 8 minutes and I am getting 6 marks, is it a good bet in DILR? 40 minutes में 30 marks is a good bet. 8 minutes में 6 marks, is it a good bet? Definitely yes. वो छोटा सा काम करके मैं 6 marks ले लूंगा, and by the time I do this 6 marks, then I will also understand whether I will be able to solve this 2 if वाले questions. ये 2 if वाले क्वेश्चंस जो है वो मैं सॉल्व कर पाऊंगा कि नहीं, उसका कितना कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी है वो मेरे को समझने लग जाता है वो सेट सॉल्व करते करते. देन you can take 6 to 12 marks out of this kind of a set. So depending on the nature of the set, most importantly the nature of the questions, my entire action plan depends on probably the nature of the questions. Because when you prepare, you will see 300 500 different type of sets in all mocks, ye wo har jagah dekhe, you will taken together, and when you prepare, you will probably prepare for being familiar to all types of sets. So setup तो familiar ही लगेगा यार, but familiarity के basis पे कोई decision नहीं लेना life में. ट्रेलर अच्छा लग रहा है बोल के ब्रह्मास्त्र देखने गया था मैं. ब्रह्मास्त्र के अंदर क्या था? शिवा. ठीक है, फेमिलियरिटी के बेसिस पे नहीं लेना कोई डिसीजन. कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी समझना, थोड़ा प्लॉट समझने की कोशिश करना कि ट्रेलर बता क्या रहा है, वेदर दैट लाइज इन योर जॉनरा, और फील रहना फिल्म देखने. ठीक है, दैट इज व्हाट आई वुड सजेस्ट. ठीक है, सो लेट्स गेट इनटू कैट 2024 slot 3 DILR. I have already taken what 50 minutes. ठीक है, so when we look at all of these 5 sets, the agenda of this session is not for me to give solutions to all of these 5 sets. What instead I want to do is help you think how to think when a set is in front of you based on the framework that I have given you. 1 2 3 4 5. उसके हिसाब से अपन डिसीजन लेंगे कौन सा सेट करना है, कौन सा सेट नहीं करना है. ऑल्सो देयर इज अ स्कूल ऑफ थॉट विच सेज कि बॉस सबसे पहले तो आप सेट स्कैन कर लो. शुरू के 5 मिनट में यू कैन चूज ऑल द 5 सेट्स. आप एक बार देख लो. 5 to 7 8 minutes you can spend in the initial time that you have to identify what are the sets you should solve. ठीक है, so let's give a marking scheme to each of the sets. ठीक है, so I want all of you to be active in the comment section when I ask these questions. ठीक है, so look at the first set. It says OTT subscribers of a platform are segregated into 3 categories: kid, elder and others. OTT subscribers के बारे में बात हो रही है. Segregation into 3 categories: kid, elder and others. In front of me I am already able to see a graph, meaning ये थोड़ा कुछ DI मेरे को करने को लगाने वाला है. Some of the subscribers used one app and the others used multiple apps to access the platform. Okay, some people used only one app, other people used multiple apps. The figure given below shows the percentage of total number of subscribers in 2023 and 2024 of kid and elder category. Figure ये बता रहा है kid and elder categories का. Figure is telling us percentage of people, not number of people, percentage of people in the kid and elder category. So the data is here in front of us. The setup says ki boss in 2023 number of kids in kids form 15% of the total subscriber base. In 2024 kids form 20% of the total subscriber base. Is there anything in this setup that is difficult to understand? On a scale of 1 to 10, where will you put your understanding of the setup? और सेटअप से थोड़ा बहुत कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी अगर गेज करने को कोशिश करो तो कंफर्ट लेवल बताओ ये सेटअप के साथ ऑन अ स्केल ऑफ 1 to 10. Seems easy, feels like 10. So setup is a green light. Then we read the data. Data क्या बोल रहा है? The total number of subscribers increased from 10% to, ठीक है. Are you seeing any complex sentences in this? कि डेटा ऐसा कुछ भयंकर चीज बोलने वाला है. How would you rate the data? सिर्फ ऊपर से स्किम करके रीड करने की कोशिश करो. Total number of subscribers, so we know about the total, something is going to be said. Some point is about 2024, the behavior. One point is about 2023. Till now we are talking about percentages, and the last point is giving us definite numbers. So what about data? Where will you say, is the data friendly, not friendly? Friendly, or is it an enemy? Data, first of all, is it verbose? 8 point है क्या? नहीं. कुछ बहुत ज्यादा वर्किंग करने की जरूरत पड़ेगी क्या इसमें? बहुत 30 पॉइंट का ग्रिड बनाना पड़ेगा क्या? इज इट कॉम्प्लेक्स? नो, डेटा इज फ्रेंडली. Then I read the questions. What are the questions saying? Is there anything that is indicative in the questions? How many subscribers belong to other category? What percentage of subscribers in the kid category use multiple apps? What was the percentage increase in the number of elder category? What could be the minimum percentage of subscribers who used multiple apps in 2024? Is there any question that is indicative of cases? There is one question with this one option जो बोल रहा है कि हो सकता है तू ये ना फाइंड कर पाए. Maybe, just maybe you may not be able to find it. But when I am looking at the data, the other three questions are direct answer questions. But when I am looking at the data, as I said, I am also thinking about a mind map right now. So what is my mind map saying? My mind map is saying there is 2023. मेरे को what do I have to map? Setup is okay, data is okay, questions are all direct. ठीक है. Now in my mind, what is the mind map going on? Okay, मैं बोल रहा हूँ 2023 होगा and 2024 होगा. 2023 there are kids, there are elders, there are others, and there may be total. Within kids, there is a subsection of one app or multiple apps. Within elders, there may be a subsection of one app or multiple apps. Others may, there is nothing. Others में there is nothing. So what is the total number of grid? अगर मेरे को पूरा डेटा टेबल में उतारना भी है, where I know कि some numbers are given to me, so what is the total number of data points I am going to look at? 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 12 grid points है यार, जिसके percentages दिए हैं. So is the working going to be very complex? Working is also something that seems friendly at this point. So this is an all friendly set. If the setup is good, if the setup is simple, data is simple to understand, all fall definite, even if you have to spend 12 minutes, take 12 marks from it and leave. So this is that kind of a set that I would probably put in this category. In contrast to it, let us look at set 2. ठीक है. अब set 2 का देखो, just read the setup and look at the data. Set 2, the table given below shows the amount in grams of carbohydrate, protein, fat and all other nutrients per 100 grams in 7 food grains. There are 7 food grains: C1, C2, M1, M2, M3, P1, P2. 2 of them are called pseudo cereal, 3 of them are called millets, and 2 of them are cereals. And this is the composition per 100 grams of nutrients in the food grain. This is given to us. And it is given that the table has some missing value. कुछ तो missing data है. So conceptually, it is missing data, but more importantly, everything is adding up to 100. All of these items is going to add up to 100. ठीक है, मैं 100 बोल रहा हूँ, तो जो भी बचा वो जिसका सम पूरा 100 करना है यार मेरे को. Am I dealing with? So first of all, setup. Is there anything difficult यहां से यहां तक in the setup? No, setup is friendly. Look at the data. Look at the data complexity. Data complexity क्या है? एक तो there is 7 into 4 are 28 grid points. 28 grid points में 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 are unknown. 14 unknown. which are a function of each other. I understand because the total is already known. But similarly previous set में भी अपने को total तो मिल ही जाएगा, total तो 100% ही है, यहाँ पे भी वही हो रहा है. Now if I read this data, I don't see any complex these things, but I see some numbers over here and they say, okay, all the missing values of carbohydrates in grams for all food grams are non-zero multiples of 5. Non-zero multiples of 5 means 5, 10, 15, 20, anything. All the missing values for protein, fat and other nutrients are all non-zero multiples of 4. This is also something related to numbers. 4, 8, 12, non-zero multiples of 4. So now I am asking myself, am I comfortable with numbers? ये non-zero multiples of 5, non-zero multiples of 4, ये सब अपने को solve करना आता है कि नहीं? अगर आता है, then the data is not very, very disgusting. But there are 14 unknowns here. And 5 data points to assimilate and keep together. But the data is not unfriendly in nature. बहुत ज़्यादा dangerous item नहीं है. अगर मेरे को थोड़ा बहुत भी numbers आता है तो. If I am comfortable doing numbers over arrangements, I should not have a lot of problem with this. Now I read the. Now, what is the mind map? The mind map is given in front of you. Table दे दिया है. इसी table को भरना है missing values. So you don't need to spend extra time on the mind map. You already know there are 14 unknowns that you have to work towards. What are the questions? Can I say all 4 questions are definite answer? Right? कोई options ही नहीं है. If वाला कोई scene ही नहीं बनता. So all 4 questions are definite answer. All direct and definite. So nature of questions. Is there any additional hint that the question is giving? Probably no. Nature of questions, friendly. All 4, all direct. Nature of questions is all direct. So again, I refer back to this matrix and say, okay, data is simple, setup is simple, all 4 definite. No if. What do I do with this? I'll probably solve. But now I have started thinking suddenly, set 1 या set 2. Both of them are the same category questions at the end of the day. Now I am thinking set 1 या set 2. What would you choose? What do I solve first? Set 2 has no options, first of all. Set 2 has all theta. Set 2 has all theta. No options. Set 1 has lesser number of grid points and lesser number of data points to assimilate. वर्किंग सेट 1 का छोटा होगा एज कंपेयर टू सेट 2. सेट 2 में मेरे को हर रो का सम फाइंड करते करते मैं अगर एक भी मिस्टेक कर दिया तो शायद मैं गलत आंसर कर दूंगा. सो इफ आई हैव टू सेलेक्ट choose between set 1 and set 2, I may probably choose set 1 because it has simpler numbers to work with. Set 1 because it has lesser amount of work required as compared to set 2. Set 2 may have simpler numbers क्योंकि पूरा मिला के 100 ही करना है. Multiples of 4s और multiples of 5s find करना है. बाकी all other missing values are either multiples of 4 or multiples of 5. Somewhere मेरे को शायद linear equations की भी help लेनी पड़े. Right? But it actually doesn't matter you select set 1 or set 2. Both of them end up typically being almost the same level. I mean, the data says set 1 was the easiest. Set 2 was also easy, not difficult. So in a paper pen, both of them are here in front of me. I will want to solve both of them. I will want to solve both of them. Okay. Now that brings us to our set 3. ठीक है. अभी set 3 थोड़ा सा अलग है. ठीक है. If you look at the setup of set 3, what it says this: the air conditioner in a large room can be operated either in regular mode or power mode. First of all, I am saying, okay, there are 2 modes of the AC. If the AC operates in regular mode, it brings down the temperature inside the room called inside temperature at a constant rate to set the set temperature in 1 hour. Okay, regular mode works at a constant rate, takes 1 hour to reach the goal. If it operates in power mode, then this is achieved in 30 minutes. So power mode also works at a constant rate, but it takes 30 minutes. So power mode is double as efficient as the twice as efficient as the regular mode. Okay. If the AC is switched off, then the inside temperature rises at a constant rate so as to reach the temperature outside. अच्छा, AC switch off वाला भी एक रूल है, right? Temperature rises at constant rate and it takes 1 hour. It takes 1 hour to reach the outside temperature. The temperature outside has been falling from 7 p.m. to 3 a.m. Okay? It has been falling at a constant rate from 7 p.m. to 3 a.m. The graph shows the inside temperature between 11 p.m. and 2 that night. So, while we know that 7 p.m. to 3 a.m., it is going to fall at a constant rate, outside temperature. The graph is only showing us 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Graph is only showing us 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Right? तो सेटअप ही यहां तक था. सेटअप मेरे को as compared to the first set and the second, now I am here with a choice: first set, second set, third set. As compared to the first set versus second set versus third set, the third set is a little more complex in terms of the setup of it itself. क्योंकि मेरे को रेगुलर मोड कब आएगा, पावर मोड कब आएगा, स्विच ऑफ कब होगा, वो देखना पड़ेगा. एंड आई एम लुकिंग एट अ वेरी लॉन्ग ड्यूरेशन. 7 PM to 3 AM के बारे में भी क्वेश्चंस हो सकते हैं. आई एम लुकिंग एट अ लॉन्गर ड्यूरेशन देन longer duration, probably even longer working. अगर मेरे को करना है इसका working, what is the mind map I am looking at? What is the mind map I am looking at? I am looking at time that will be taken in half an hour intervals, followed by AC, whether it was switched on or switched off, then AC mode. Then I am looking at then I am looking at inside temperature. I am looking at outside temperature. So 5 तो ये हो गए. And in every half an hour, if I have to work from 11 to 2, that is 3 hours. So 7 grid points तो यहाँ हो गए. And if I have to by mistake work for 7 PM to 3 AM, probably हो सकता है थोड़ा लंबा वर्क हो जाए. ऐसा impossible work नहीं है, बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं होगा. But I am still probably dealing with about 30 to 35 grid points, all of which may not be very difficult to answer क्योंकि inside temperature तो already graph में दिया है अपने को. AC on है कि off है वो भी अपने को पता चल जाएगा looking at the graph itself, right? So I will still have to work for about 20 odd grid points. Following data is known. AC was turned off for the first time at 11 PM. The AC setting was changed, including turning it off and off or setting different temperatures. Turning it on, off, and or setting different temperature. AC setting. Only at the beginning of this. AC was used in power mode for longer duration than regular mode. Okay, so my challenge here is I don't know where the regular mode will be, where the power mode will be. I will look at the questions. First of all, I will look at the setup. Setup is not very difficult, not very easy to for me. मतलब बहुत familiar नहीं है अपने लिए. So setup के लिए tick cross दोनों आएगा. मतलब I'm not very happy with the setup. Followed by data. Data is not complex, but the working may be. Given data is not complex, working may be complex. I'm looking at the questions. Working the final तभी decide होता है जब question देख लो. How many times the AC must have been turned off exactly between this and this? Okay, there is an option of this. cannot be determined, पता नहीं अपने को. What was the temperature outside at 1 a.m.? To fill the temperature outside at 1 a.m., we will have to use AC on है कि off है, inside temperature क्या है, and we will have to find the rate of it. What was the temperature outside at 9 p.m.? 9 p.m. Now 9 p.m. is beyond this graph. 9 p.m. is beyond this graph. This is where probably it will ask me to do a little more work than I was anticipating. What best can be concluded about the number of times AC must have been turned on or the AC temperature setting had been altered? So kitne baar, then it is asking us, this question is asking us about probably a switch from power mode to regular mode. Kab ho raha hai, kya ho raha hai, kitne baar. And what was the maximum temperature between the outside and inside? To be able to answer this question, between 11 p.m. and 1:59, I will have to fill every grid point. Outside temperature, inside temperature, AC on hai ki nahi, and at every time zone. So from that perspective, working is a little more complex as compared to the first one. Questions are all direct, no ifs and buts. No ifs and buts. Questions seem to be all direct. So in this kind of a set, where I am not very comfortable with the setup and I feel that the working is a little complex as well, what do I choose? I typically choose set 1 and set 2 over set 3. It is not impossible. I will probably leave this set in the exam. I will probably leave this set in the exam, but not without taking any marks from it. The toughest of the sets end up sometimes having the easiest of the questions. If you read the first question, how many times AC must have been turned off? AC on करने से क्या होता है? When you turn on, temperature falls. It is given in the setup. And when you turn off the AC, it is also given in the setup that temperature rises. How many times AC must have been turned off? जितना देर on है, उतना देर तो टेम्परेचर ब्रिंग डाउन ही करता है. जैसे ही ऑफ किया, टेम्परेचर राइजेस. How many times in this graph are you able to see a temperature rise? How many times are you able to see a temperature rise? We are able to see it twice. How many times has it been turned off? ये 2 मिनट इसमें बिताने के लिए मैं 3 मार्क्स लेके चले जाऊंगा यार. For spending that 2.5 minutes to understand this set, if I get 3 marks, I'll be more than happy. I'll take those 3 marks and leave. कोई टेंशन नहीं है मेरे को. Understood? Right? Other questions may require a little bit more working. I am not very interested. So, is the thought process of selecting a set, the way we go about the order of in which we work the set, is that clear? Okay. The other thing is the first question of any set. First question of any set is the easiest question. And if you can't find the answer to the first question of, and it is very important, key, it is like the opener. ओपनिंग बैट्समैन अगर आपका नहीं परफॉर्म किया ना तो कोई फायदा नहीं है, क्योंकि पावर प्ले में आप मैच जीत जाते। तो फर्स्ट सेट, किसी भी सेट का फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन, इफ यू गेट द आंसर टू दैट क्वेश्चन रॉन्ग, the probability that you will get answers to other questions wrong is much higher. If you look at this graph, ये फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन अगर लोगों का रॉन्ग होता ना तो बाकी भी उड़ जाते। ये देखो ये सेट है, इसमें ये एसी वाला सेट, दिस वन, फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन तो पक्के से मिलेगा। फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन रॉन्ग होता तो बाकी सेट तो रॉन्ग होगा ही, फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन रॉन्ग होगा तो बाकी सेट आपका रॉन्ग हो ही जाएगा। So if I were to spend 12 minutes in a set, I will probably focus 7-8 minutes taking that first goal in mind कि रहमान डकैत को मारना है, वो मेरा फर्स्ट पार्ट है। एक बार रहमान डकैत मर गया ना, फिर मैं उजैर को जेल भेजूंगा या जो करूंगा वो मेरे हाथ में। Whatever the set offers you, take it and leave. Yes, absolutely. Okay. Now the other thing is questions give us hints. Options give us hints. So okay, let us take a look at this particular set. ये जो set है, we haven't solved it. We said okay, this seems to be the easiest among the first three. तो इसको solve करना बनता है पेपर में, तो कैसे करेंगे? Do we have any extra clues? Let's try to figure it out. The total number of subscribers increased from 10% in 2023 to 2024. First of all, if you look at it, the way I go about my data, I form large grids, grid points. बड़े बड़े ग्रिड पॉइंट बनाता हूं ताकि मेरे पास जगह रहे, so that I have enough place to write what I want to write. Okay? So the total number of subscribers increased by 10% from 2023 to 2024. So 10% from 2023 to 2024 means if this was 100, this will be 110. This is the first thing I can put in the table. Okay. In 2024, half the number of subscribers from the kid category and 2/3 of the number of subscribers from elder category use one app. So let us try to first figure out this. 15%, 100 का 15% will be 15. 15 is the number of kids. Number of elders in 2023 is 20. That means others will be 65. अगर 100 ही total number होता तो it will be 15, 20, 65. ठीक है? And in 2024, out of 110, I'm looking at 20% being kids. 20% is kids, so this will be 22. 20% is and 30% is elders. 110 ka 30% is 33. That means others will be 110 minus 55, which is 55. Others will be 55, half of the people. Okay. In 2024, half of the subscribers from the kid category and 2/3 of the subscribers from elder category uses only one app. Half subscribers from kid category, that is 11, uses one app, and 2/3 of the subscribers from elders category, 33 में से 2/3, 22, use one app. That means इधर भी 11 आएगा और इधर भी 11 आएगा. Point 2 is completely juiced. Let's look at point 3. In 2023, the number of subscribers from the kid category who used multiple apps was the same as number of subscribers from elder category who used one app. So, इधर अगर X है, elder category one app, elder category one app is X. Kids using multiple apps is also X. 10,000 subscribers from the kid category used one app and 15,000 subscribers from elder category used multiple apps in 2023. 10,000 subscribers from kid category used one app. So this is actually 10,000. This is actually 10,000. And 15,000 subscribers from elder category. 15,000 used multiple apps. So using this data, मेरे को कैसे भी करके ये फिगर आउट करना है कि ये 11 जो भी मैं आइटम्स ये यहाँ पे लिया हूँ, if this is 100A, 110A, this is 65A, this is 55A, this is 33A, this is 22A, this is 15A, and this is 20A. ठीक है, कैसे भी करके ये फिगर आउट करना है कि बाकी वैल्यूज क्या है. ओके, let's take a look at the question. How many subscribers belong to other category in 2024? First of all, if I have some numbers coming in, I should be, and बाकी के questions ऐसे है तो I should be confident कि मेरे सारे numbers मिल जाएंगे. कुछ तो नंबर दिया है तो मेरे को सारे numbers तो ढूंढने आने चाहिए इसमें से. So let's look at how many numbers subscriber belong to other category in 2024. Others category in 2024 is some 55A. Can I say others category in 2024 should be a multiple of 55 or at least a multiple of 11? Others category in 2024 will be a multiple of 11. Do you agree? वो तो एक ही ऑप्शन में है तो वो 5500 हो गया. So 55, A is 55,000 है. So my A is 1000. So matter over. If my A is 1000, then I don't need to work about anything. A is 1000, so this becomes 15,000. This becomes 15,000. This becomes 20,000. Total becomes 100,000, 1 lakh. इधर 1,10,000. This is 55,000. This is 65,000. This is 33,000. सारे thousands. This is 11,000. This is 11,000. This is 22,000. This is 11,000. Matter over, सब मिल गया मेरे को. ये 15,000. This is 10,000. This is 5,000. And this is going to be another 5,000. Over. Entire question is over. What is the percentage of subscribers in kid category who used multiple apps in 2023? Multiple apps in 2023. 5,000 over 15,000. 1/3. 33.33%. What was the percentage increase in the number of subscribers in elder category from 2023 to 2024? 2023 से 2024 elder category 20,000 से 33,000 हुआ. इस क्वेश्चन के लिए एग्जैक्ट वैल्यू निकालने की भी जरूरत नहीं थी. 20A and 33A, the increase is 13A over 20, so 13 by 20, which is 65%. Option 3. And what could be the minimum percentage of subscribers who used multiple apps in 2024? Minimum percentage of subscribers who used multiple apps in 2024. Multiple apps in 2024, 11,000 and another 11,000. Minimum 22,000 people have done it out of 1,10,000. 1,10,000 में अगर minimum 22,000 have done it, so a minimum of 20% have done it. Simple. हो गया, matter over. इस क्वेश्चन में कोई जूस ही नहीं है, बट हमको कब पता चलेगा कि जूस नहीं है? जब हम उसको ध्यान से पढ़े. वरना तो इस क्वेश्चन को भी गलत किया है ना लोगों ने, इस क्वेश्चन को भी छोड़ दिया है ना लोगों ने. 40% of people didn't even bother to attempt this set and they chose to attempt the second set instead, or some of them chose to attempt the third or the fourth set instead, leaving this sitter sitting right there. And when will you understand it is a sitter? When you go through the process. Right now you may take 2 minutes, 3 minutes per set also to go through the entire process, जो मैं बताया 5-step process. But over a period of time, once you have solved 300, 400 sets, you are good in that groove of practice. You will probably be able to do this in 1.5 minutes for every set. कि setup देख लिया ध्यान से थोड़ा बहुत, डेटा ऊपर से देख लिया, क्वेश्चंस देख लिया, नेचर ऑफ क्वेश्चंस देख लिया, एंड माइंड मैप बना के रेडी है. एंड बाय द वे दिस इज अ कैट लेवल क्वेश्चन. जो मैं कह रहा था कि कैट का कोई लेवल नहीं होता. देखो 2025 का पेपर बहुत डिफिकल्ट था. 2024 में तो एकदम ऐसा ये दे दिया, इसको मैं क्या बोलूं, अरशद पप्पू क्वेश्चन है ये. ठीक है, दैट ब्रिंग्स अस टू द सेकंड सेट. अभी सेकंड सेट में क्या करना है. हाँ, we had read the data and we said कि all of these numbers, remaining numbers are some 5k, and the remaining numbers in any of the other columns is 4k, and total अपने को 100 करना है. इतना तो हमने देख लिया. What are the questions asking us? How many food grains had a higher amount of carbohydrate per 100 grams of nutrients than M1? What is this question suggesting? ये क्वेश्चन अपने को बोल रहा है कि कार्बोहाइड्रेट का कॉम्पोजिशन फॉर ईच ऑफ दीज यू शुड बी एबल टू आइडेंटिफाई, राइट. नहीं तो कैसे पता चलेगा कि M1 से कितने ज्यादा है. सो इट इज टेलिंग अस कि कार्बोहाइड्रेट के सारे वैल्यूज मिल जाएंगे. हाउ मेनी ग्राम्स ऑफ प्रोटीन वर देयर इन 100 ग्राम्स ऑफ M2? प्रोटीन इन 100 ग्राम्स ऑफ M2. दिस ग्रिड पॉइंट इज कि ये भी मिल जाएगा. थीटा है, उसके बारे में क्वेश्चन पूछा है, तो दैट शुड बी समथिंग दैट वी शुड बी एबल टू फाइंड आउट. Number 3, how many grams of other nutrients were there in 100 grams of nutrients in M3? Other nutrients M3 में कितने थे? This grid point is what is being asked. And number 4, what is the median number of grams of protein in 100 grams? Median find करने के लिए you should be able to see what the entire series is, and the middle value is going to be median. So protein के सारे values मिल जाएंगे. So if you are able to find protein, if you are able to find carbohydrate, other nutrients, what the question is telling us is that you should be able to find everything in this data. सब कुछ मिल जाएगा. और 14 data points that are unknown can be found out using these 5 simple points. 2 of them I have already put in the table. 5Ks, this will be 4Ks. All missing data is 5K for the first column and 4K for the other 3 columns. ठीक है, अभी कहां से उठाए अपन. फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन, फर्स्ट पॉइंट says both the pseudo cereals, that is P1 and P2, both the pseudo cereals P1 and P2 had higher amounts of carbohydrates as well as protein than any millet. Higher amount of carbohydrates than any millet. This millet has 62. So P2 should have greater than 62. P2 should have greater than 62, carbohydrate greater than 62, but more than greater than 62, also a multiple of 5. ठीक है, P2 में out of 100 this is greater than or equal to 4, non-zero multiples of 4. So already we are done with 8 plus 14, 22 plus 4, 26 तो minimum जा चुका है. Out of 100 26 is gone minimum. That means we are left with a maximum of 74, such that the number is greater than 62. So we can have 2 options. It is either 65 or 70. No other point, no other option can be an answer here. Okay. Similarly, in the millet section, the number of proteins in P1 should be greater than 10. Both carbohydrate as well as protein will be higher. So P1 में protein is greater than 10. We are already, and it is also a multiple of 4. So we are already done with 66 and 10, 76 in this row. 76 in this row, and this is a greater than or equal to 4. Right? So in this row, if it is 76 is already done and another 4 is going here, so 80 is already done. अगर minimum 80 जा चुका है, तो these values greater than 10, multiples of 4, only 12, 16 or 20 are possible. ग्रिड पॉइंट बड़ा बनाने से फायदा ये होता है कि आप मल्टीपल केसेस एक ही चीज में बना सकते हो, और कटना है, जो भी कटना है फाइनली वो कट जाएगा, आप काट भी सकते हो. Both cereals had higher amount of carbohydrate than any pseudo cereal. So both cereals should have higher amount of carbohydrate. तो इसका तो काउंटिंग ही 70 से स्टार्ट हो, इसका तो काउंटिंग ही 70 से स्टार्ट होगा. नाउ इफ दिस इज ग्रेटर देन और इक्वल टू 4, this is also greater than or equal to 4. So in C2, carbohydrate should be more than 70, more than 65. Carbohydrate should be more than 65. And the total should be 100 in C2. तो यहाँ पे 10, 3, 4, 17 तो जा चुका है. 17 is already gone. So if 17 is already gone, तो क्या बचा अपने पास? If 17 is already gone, what are we left with? We are left with another 83. So these numbers are 70, 75 और 80. इधर भी 84 बचा है. So these number is also 70 और 75 और 80. अभी तक मल्टीपल ऑप्शंस आ रहे हैं. लास्ट में एक पॉइंट दिया है, P1 कंटेन डबल द अमाउंट ऑफ प्रोटीन दैट M3 कंटेन्स. ये हुई ना बात, M3 कंटेन्स कितना प्रोटीन, उसके हिसाब से P1 मिल जाएगा. Okay, so if P1 contains double the amount of protein than M3 contains, P1 contains double the amount of protein than M3 contains. M3 is a multiple of 4. M3 का protein is a multiple of 4. Right? Double the amount of that means P1 का protein should be a multiple of 8. That cannot be 20, cannot be 12. It is only 16. Definitely 16. That means this is 8. So if this is 56, this is 8, this is 12. 64 और 12, 76 हो गया है. This is 24. That should be the answer to the second question. (24) is the answer to the second question. ठीक है. Also it is asked, how many items have more carbohydrate than M1? How many items have more carbohydrate than M1? M1 में 62 है. C1 and C2 definitely have. P1 and P2 definitely have. We just have to find out how much M2 has. I'm just erasing these tick marks. We just have to find out how much M3 has. दूसरी बात यह है कि if this is 8 and this is 14, in P2, 22 is already gone. If this is 65 and this is a multiple of 4, we already have an even number. 8 plus 14 is an even number. Total is an even number. This is going to be an even number. That means fat is going to be an even number. So carbohydrate cannot be an odd number, which is 65. So carbohydrate in P2 is definitely 70. So the moment carbohydrate in P2 is 70, C1 and C2 cannot have 70 as the carbohydrate. C1 and C2 cannot have 70 as the carbohydrate. That is also gone. So जैसे ये 70 हो गया, 78 plus 14, 92. This number greater than or equal to 4, this becomes 8. This number becomes 8. Similarly here, 66 plus 16, 72, 82 plus 10, 92 हो गया. ये number भी 8 मिल गया. ठीक है. Then in C1 and C2 also we can very well find this out. We already have 12 plus 0 plus a multiple of 4. That means a total protein and other nutrients and fat taken together is an even number. Carbohydrate must be an even number. Cannot be 75. It must be 80. Here for C2, 10 plus 3 plus some even number, odd number aa raha hai. If all three of these taken together, protein, fat and other nutrients taken together is odd, then C2 also must be odd. C2 also must be odd. So उससे अपने को प्रोटीन के वैल्यूज, फाइनल वैल्यूज मिल जाएंगे. What are the final values for protein? You have 80 plus 12, 92. Here it is 8. And here 75 plus 13, 88 हो गया. This is going to be 12. This is going to be 12. Now coming to M2. Now coming to M2. M2 में ये item, this is 7 and this is 16. So we already have covered 23. M2 में remaining, M2 में protein plus carbohydrate plus protein is equal to, carbohydrate plus protein is equal to 77, such that carbohydrate is a multiple of 5 and protein is a multiple of 4. Carbohydrate is a multiple of 5 and protein is a multiple of 4. Also protein is less than or equal to 14, because millet में जो protein है, that is lesser than the protein in a pseudo cereal. So 4b is less than or equal to 14. So 4b is less than or equal to 12. If 4b is equal to 12, 5a will be equal to 65. Possible. If 4b is equal to 8, 5a will be equal to 61. Not possible. If 4b is equal to 4, 5a will be equal to 57. Not possible. So 65 and 12 is the only combination जो यहाँ पे बैठेगा. As a result, we have everything we need to be able to answer the questions. First question was, how many cereals have more than, how many food grains have more carbohydrate than M1? More carbohydrate than M1. 65, 66, 70, 75, 80. 5 of these items have more carbohydrate than M1. How many grams of other nutrients were there in 100 grams of nutrients in M3? M3 में other कितना था? 24. M3 में other कितना था? 24. 24 is the answer to this question, not this. How many grams of protein were there in 100 grams of M2? 100 grams of M2 में protein कितना था? 12. And what is the median number of protein in 100 grams of nutrients among the grains? What are the numbers we have? 8, 10, 8. So we have 8, 8. In ascending order, when you write, the middle number is the median. 8, 8, 10, 12, 12, 14, 16. These are 7 numbers. Middle number is 12. So the median is 12. So 12 marks taken from this set 2. We took 12 from the previous set, 12 from this. AC वाले क्वेश्चन का पहला क्वेश्चन सही कर लिए, 27 मार्क्स इधर ही हो गए. बाकी दो सेट में से आप छेड़छाड़ के एक दो क्वेश्चन इधर भी कर लो तो मैटर ओवर. इनफैक्ट सेट 5 इज प्रोबेबली वाज द इजीएस्ट क्वेश्चन. मेरे हिसाब से सेट 5 बहुत इजी था, बट बहुत कम लोगों ने उसको अटेम्प्ट किया. But as I said, my goal of this session was not to solve questions or solve questions in a quick way. My goal of this session was to help you understand how I think when I am looking at a question paper. ठीक है? I think how to think में ही बहुत ज़्यादा value है. आप लोग, if you figure that out, you will be able to figure most of the other things out. So that was my time. Thank you. I don't see any much doubts over here. I hope the session made some sense to you. My name is Ravi. This is my phone number. 63 95 44 32 11. Don't call. Okay. you can text me, we can chat, and कॉल भी करना है तो कर सकते हैं, मतलब एक ऐसा टाइम अपन फिक्स करके बात कर सकते हैं, बिकॉज आई एम typically working in working days, so I may not be able to take your call at all times, but at any point in time you during your entire preparation, any of the sections you feel any kind of difficulty, feel free to reach out to me. Thank you, and thank you for following career. Chalo then, see you guys, all the best for your preparation. अगर कुछ भी फायदा हुआ हो सेशन से तो लाइक करके जाओ सेशन, ठीक है? चलो, सी यू गाइस.